Alright, now we have all of our joints named. This is right shoulder, right hand, okay? Once I've gone through and named all of them, then I select the center of gravity joint, select the mesh, shift by pressing shift. Then you go to skin, bind skin, smooth bind, and we need to go to the option box and change one of the presets. We need to change the normalize weights to interactive. Okay, and then press bind skin, and it worked if it turned pink. Okay, now also our joints will now be multicolored. So when we select our joints, now when we go to rotate them, we get the model to follow. Okay, and as you go around and start rotating your character, the first thing you'll notice is that it's not obeying. It's not working how you would expect. As I rotate the shoulder, it's affecting the face and the side of the body. Okay, so the next step is what we call painting weights. We now need to get these vertices on the polygon on the mesh to know which joint to follow. Okay, that's what's happening, is these vertices have been assigned to a joint, and a vertice can be assigned to multiple joints. You could have this one vertice, you could have this one vertice be halfway influenced by the head joint and halfway influenced by the shoulder joint. You could also have it be a fourth influenced by the head, a fourth influenced by the neck, a fourth influenced by the shoulder, and a fourth influenced by the elbow. Okay, the vertices can only be influenced up to a value of 1. So 1 would be completely influenced by one joint, and if it's something other than that, then it will break up the numbers between them, all the joints. So we want to straighten that out and get it to obey what we would think it would be. Okay, so the best way to do that is to rotate a joint into a position that you might want. So this should be making my head look up. Okay, so now I select the model, and underneath the animation tab we have this paintbrush, and I'll select that, and now it turns my model black. And then we need to make sure that the tool settings are open. So I've just now turned them off. I'm selecting up here in the top right corner the tool. Then we go down and we find the joint that we want to add the head to. So the joint name is head, so I select that. And anywhere black, the joint's not affecting, but anywhere white, the joint is affecting all the way, and anywhere gray, it's kind of affecting it. So now it's giving me this paintbrush, and as I select it, it starts to distort my pig. Okay, now at first this is it will look a little bizarre, but as what it's doing is it's making those vertices jump into the right position, so that they are where we would expect them to be. Okay, now you can adjust the size of this brush. Right now it has an R for radius. If I hold down B, as in boy, I can left click and drag and affect the size of that. So I can make it a little bigger. And I'm just going to keep coming in here and painting the head, because again this is the head that we're affecting. And see, now he's starting to look like he is looking up. Okay, now this tool, the Paint Weights tool, works really good when you're trying to make a smooth transition between two areas. Like this neck here, it's working really well. But in the areas that it's not working very well is like in these ears. But we will be looking at another tool that will help us to get these ears exactly in the right position. Okay, so I'll go to there, Okay, but now, so now our pig is looking up. If I press W, select my joint, press E to rotate, okay, now my head is following that joint. And I think if I switch to my shoulder now and rotate that, it's not affecting the side of the face anymore because we've assigned those vertices to the head joint. Now it is still affecting the ear a little bit. You can see it moving. So now there's another way we can change the weights. And that is by going into vertice mode, selecting the vertices, and now I'm going to press Shift and period to grow that selection. So I've now selected the whole ear. Then I go to Window, General Editors, Component Editor. Okay, in the component editor we have these several tabs, but the tab we're looking for is Smooth Skin. And this brings up kind of an Excel sheet. So on the left, going down the column, we have the name of the vertices that are selected, and we have a long list of vertices as we go down. And then to the right, we have the influence and the joints. Here we have the center of gravity, the head joint, the left elbow, okay, and going on down. So the end result, the total, is that is 1, which means that vertice 78 is influenced 100%. And by all these joints listed here, it's not influenced at all. These are all 0. But if we go back to the beginning of the list, we have 0, then 1. So this particular vertice is already done. It's only looking at the head joint. But even the next vertice down, we have only 0.99. So then somewhere along this list, those vertices, this vertice isn't being influenced by another joint. So if I look down the list, here it is, the neck. The neck is influencing it. Okay, so we don't want that. Now if we were to put in 0 here, ideally, it would assign it to the here so that it would be 1. But it doesn't know what to do. So now it's assigned it further down, possibly to another part of to another joint. Oh, it looks like it, oh, okay, I was looking at the wrong one. Let's see if I go down. Okay, I don't see where it is. Okay, now all of the joints might not necessarily be showing. It only shows the joints that are currently being influenced. If we go to the options, hide 0 columns, it will bring up all of the joints that we have. Okay, so here now is all the joints. So what we want to do is we want to select the word head, then press Control and deselect the word off, and then press 1, enter. Okay, now all of these now should say 1 as we go down the list of these vertices. Okay, I'm going to close this. Now, when I rotate my elbow, that ear is not being affected at all. But when I rotate the head, it's following perfectly along with it. Okay, so let's see, we have this other ear is having a problem. So I'm going to go to vertex mode, select the ear, grow the selection. I go to Window, General Editors, Component Editor. And I want the head joint. Press Control to deselect off, and press 1, enter. Okay? Now, all of those joints, or all of those vertices are now being affected by this one joint. Okay, and it's, oops. And now it's going to look good as I rotate it. Okay? So you now need to go through and paint the weights or adjust them in the component editor so that when you move a certain part of the body, it does what you want it to do. See if I move the leg here. Okay, so see there's too much. It's moving the tail, that's probably not right, and it's also affecting a lot in here. So we could try using the component editor, or again, we could select the mesh, go to the paint vertex mode, and I'm going to say I want these vertices up here to be affected by the center of gravity. So I'm going to go to center of gravity and paint those weights on. Okay, and work my way around. And it's just a game of going back and forth. And if that moved too strong, I can adjust. In the tools here, there is a opacity, I think is the strength. So now, okay, now when I click, it's not dragging as forcefully. I can just get these all to line up. Okay, and maybe let's see how the left foot is looking like. Okay, so it's gray. We want it to all be white. So I'm going to turn up the opacity and start painting it until it's perfectly white. Okay, and again I'm painting the weight for this left foot because left foot is selected over here. So now if I switch to rotate, let's see how this looks. Okay, the foot looks good. It's affecting some other ones, but the vertices on this foot are looking the way that we would like them to. Okay, and just to show you what it looked like before, probably, if I rotate this foot, they kind of scale in. They're not doing everything that we want, how we want them to be doing. Okay, now, because we went through and made sure that all of our joints had 0 rotations on them, I could go and put my character back in default pose. So by pressing Control A, I bring up the attribute editor. I press Control A again to get the left foot list here. And now in the rotate, I'll just change these to 0. Go to the hip, change these to 0. Okay, now this is just to remind you about this, that we can reset this. Okay, so again, when you want to paint the weights on a joint, it's a good idea to move it into a position, like here's the neck. Okay, that's looking actually pretty good. It's maybe pulling too much there, but then you just affect it until it looks the way you'd like it to. Okay, so there will probably be one more tutorial about rigging, but this will take a little while to paint the weights. Okay, you want to be able to get your character into poses. For this particular assignment, we're doing 4. I'd like you to do 4 different poses and render those out. Okay, so we'll stop at that point and good luck.